About Time with Rashawn's About Time Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. What's up to my About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang? I hope everybody is good. I hope all of y'all are safe and all your families, children, and everybody is good. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel, who has been taking out the time to watch the videos and like the videos. Your comments, are definitely appreciated. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Pass the word about Rashawn's About Time Boxing. Become part of the About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang. So, alright, so we got Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez finally getting ready to, November 6th. Caleb Plant is 21-0 with 12 knockouts. Canelo is 56-1-2 and 37-38 knockouts. So pretty impressive record on paper. Now I did a video maybe a month or so ago, and a lot of Canelo fans, they was calling me all kind of names. They was calling me racist. They was telling me I'm a liar, I don't know what I'm talking about, and this, that, and the third, because they were supposed to fight in September. But Canelo has a reputation for always putting these outlandish and outrageous stipulations in contracts, whether it's a rehydration clause, catch weight clause, all different types of stuff. You see, when they were supposed to fight the first time, what he did with Caleb Plant. He wanted the pay-per-view upside and all that, off the gate and the upside. Caleb Plant agreed to that. The endorsements, Hennessy and Mexican TV and everything else. Caleb Plant agreed to everything. And then Canelo said, well, if Caleb Plant get hurt or sick, I get to pick another opponent of my choice, get the same amount of money, and I still get everything else that I wanted. But if I get sick or get hurt, Caleb Plant can't find a replacement. He gotta wait. Caleb Plant was like, man, you tripping. And then on top of that, it was 6.5 weeks. 6.5 weeks from the fight date, and there was no drug testing done. No drug testing done. And everybody got mad at me when I talked about, when Canelo talked about eating that mystery meat and all that kind of stuff. Listen, the bottom line is Canelo's using performance enhancing drugs, and he got busted for it. It's no secret. So we don't gotta keep saying mystery meat and all that kind of stuff. He used performance enhancing drugs, and he tried to say that he didn't know about it, just like Oscar Valdez tried to say that the fentanyl that was in his system came from some herbal tea. How can fentanyl come from a herbal tea when you only can get it by prescription only? And if y'all don't believe me, look it up and check it. And even Victor Conti, the former CEO and founder of Balco, and everybody, if you're familiar with the big Balco scandal, this was the same guy who was juicing Shane Mosley when Shane Mosley fought Oscar De La Hoya, and claimed he didn't know that he was being juiced, that he didn't know what he was taking. Nobody's not gonna let nobody give them something or poke them with a needle and not ask what it is. You know exactly what it is. You know exactly what it is. And even Victor Conti himself said, if you're not being tested for PEDs, he said there's loopholes big enough to drive a truck through where people can get away with it. And then on top of that, the WBC is raising the PED it's called Combuterol. They're raising the Combuterol numbers for fighters, for certain fighters, so that they can cheat. So how many of Canelo fans is gonna come on here now and tell me, oh, I'm a hater or I'm a racist? Again, listen, I never took nothing away from Canelo. Because if you followed his career, like earlier in his career, Canelo was an excellent fighter. And I'm not saying that he's not. But even when Caleb Plant was on the last stand with Brian Custer at one of the promos, and Brian Custer said, "Well, you pretty vocal about, speaking out about this thing. Like, why shouldn't like most people wouldn't do that?" Caleb Plant said, "Because there's no place for that in our sport." And remember, everybody came down hard on Floyd because Floyd was making people do the random drug testing. And if in case y'all forgot, when Canelo fought Cullum Smith, he dragged his feet, held out and held out and held out, and didn't do the drug testing until 4 weeks before the fight. 4 or 5 weeks before the fight or something like that. And he tried to get the same thing, if I'm not mistaken, with Caleb Plant. He tried to do the same thing. He wanted to hold out. Caleb Plant wanted 12 weeks. The full, if I'm not mistaken, is 4-12. He wanted the 12 weeks of the VADA drug testing. He wanted, to get the drug testing done. But Canelo finally agreed to 10. So that just only means that, just like Victor Conte said, if you're not being tested for PEDs, there's loopholes big enough to drive a truck through where you can, still, get around these things. So whatever it was he would have did to hold out 4 to 5 weeks up into the fight, he's just going to do the same thing. But he's just going to make sure that it don't show up in his system, for the, for the 10 weeks or whatever the situation is. But some kind of way, he's probably going to try to get around it. And then Canelo made the statement that that Caleb Plant making accusations. It's not an accusation if you got caught already. You got caught. And you was suspended for it. Remember, Canelo was suspended for this now. But he didn't really even serve no time, because when he got suspended, by the time the suspension was lifted, he already, he already had another fight lined up for that September. So it didn't, that suspension didn't even matter. Because it was just like he just fought, so you take that time off. And this is another thing, when people are using performance enhancing drugs, steroids and things like that, they need more time off because it takes longer for the body to heal. Do your research, look into it. Now, I know a lot of, these Canelo fans, because, hey, look here, the WBC, Oscar Valdez, both his A and B tests came up positive with PEDs. And they still let him fight. Why? Why did they still let him fight? If his test came back positive for PEDs and they still let him fight. Now I know it's going to be, the people coming on here saying, oh, you need to be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut up. Your information is wrong. But do your own research and y'all see that the information is correctamundo. And like I said, man, I give credit where credit is due. And before y'all start calling me a racist, did y'all forget Caleb Plant is white? So me giving fighters their credit and respecting, just the fight game in general has nothing to do with skin color. Not to me. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing. Everybody was riding the Antonio Margarito wave. Then when they found out he was cheating, I remember I was telling people before he got caught that he was doing something, he was cheating. Nobody believed me though. Nobody believed me. And then when he finally got caught, and everybody got mad at Floyd, even Larry Merchant was like, oh, you want everybody to do this random drug test? Man, listen, If they agreed to do a random drug test, Canelo and Caleb Plant probably would never fight. They probably would never fight. You think Avni Yildirim's people asked about drug testing and all that? Check this, check the information on that fight. And look at when Canelo started drug testing for that fight. And Avni was not a legitimate contender, nor was he a number one contender. 2-year layoff? Yeah, I keep saying it. Y'all say, oh, you keep talking about Avni Yildirim and him fighting Canelo, because he was not a worthy contender. He was off for 2 years and was knocked out in his last fight before that 2-year layoff. He was stopped. And then he comes back and he's the number one contender. I bet you if they would have checked Canelo's blood for that fight, and they know when, it's just like bodybuilders. They get on a steroid regimen when they can, when they're working out for some of them, when they're working out for these competitions and stuff. They get on a regimen, and they even go to some doctors that put them on it, and they know when to bring them off of it. So when they get close enough to the competition, then it's cool. That's what Canelo do. He start to use it, and then he start to taper off, and then he taper off to the point that when he gets tested for it, it don't show up in his system, but he still benefit, in the ring from it. He'll still benefit from it. Just like everybody thought Lance Armstrong was so great. He cheated for all 7 of his Tour de France's. All of them. And before he got caught, it was people saying that. But everybody was like, oh, you just hating. Oh, it's just this, just that. There's no hate. Canelo is a cheater. Caleb Plant called it. He called it. Now take a listen to this.
You've been pretty outspoken, and you look at social media, and even with your talk, you're like, hey, look, this guy's been busted.
It's not accusations.
Right, he's been busted for
Not accusations.
6 months. His trainer, obviously been with him the whole time. Oscar Valdez, got popped. He can.
And Valdez too, or whatever his name is.
Exactly. You've been adamant about speaking that, and it's not a lot of people do that. Tell me why you felt the need to be so vocal, but there's not a lot of guys who do it.
Because there's no room for that in our sport. And, it's like he was saying, I think Caleb Plant's insecure, but...
Introducing the all-in vault from Nordic Track. It's what's inside that inspires.
Is testing positive for a banned substance, is that insecure? Is taking banned substances, isn't that insecure? Because taking banned substances doesn't stem from confidence. That stems from fear. Fear of not making weight, fear of, your conditioning being this or your power being this. It doesn't stem from what you think you can do. It stems from what you think you can do, right? That's what banned substances stem from. That's why you take them. And I'm a clean fighter. And I know that in my heart, and I've always been a clean fighter, and I'll always be a clean fighter. I'm not a cheater. That's one thing my dad has instilled in me since I was a little kid. We do not cheat, and I'm not a cheater. And I feel like the more people should speak up on it, and I feel like I had a platform to do it, so I'm gonna speak up on it. And he got mad about it, but if it's not true, what's there to be mad about?
There you go. If it's not true, what's there to be mad about? See, we living in times now where you can't speak your mind. Since when did status exempt you from being human? So because Canelo's supposed to be the so-called, like the quote-unquote greatest fighter in the game now, or the most popular fighter in the game, you can't say certain things to him? Oh, how dare you call Canelo a cheater? Do you know who you're talking about? That's like people saying, oh, you can't say faggot, you gotta say gay. If I want to say faggot, I'm gonna say faggot. You want to say potato, I want to say potato. Okay. You want to say no, I want to say nay. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, we living in times where, you know, like, based on a person's status, you can't say certain things. Status don't exempt you from being a human being. He go to the bathroom, Canelo go to the bathroom, just like you and I. He hurts just like you and I. He got to eat just like you and I. He put his clothes on just like any other human being. His status does not exempt him from being human. And Caleb Plant said, listen, I'm not a cheater. I'm a clean fighter. I'm going to always be a clean fighter. And if you not a dirty fighter, what you mad about? Why you mad because I called you a cheater if if it's not true? But it is true. And you even heard Brian Custer say he got caught cheating and served a 6-month suspension. So then nobody can deny it. And y'all don't think that Canelo cheated in none of his other fights? Okay, that's a big accusation, but just because he didn't get caught doesn't mean that it wasn't happening. If Nazim Richardson wouldn't have caught Jose Capetillo trying to wrap Margarito's hands, with that cast, he would have cheated in that fight, but nobody would have never known. So just because you don't see it don't mean that it's not happening. And I know somebody gonna say, oh, but don't they take, blood and urine, after every fight? But didn't you hear me talk about the tapering off? You go through the training camp using that stuff. It's a lot of different, performance enhancing drugs that people, that people can use. Even Victor Conte said, he said that he's personally given athletes performance enhancing drugs, including phentermine, in the past. And he knows what it does. He said it's very powerful. The performance enhancing drugs, he said they're like methamphetamines. This is Victor Conte. Now dare y'all to dispute what he say. He was part of one of the biggest scandals, doping scandals, in sports, period. In sports, period. Because he wasn't just doping boxers. You see what I'm saying? So, come on now. So dare y'all challenge that. So November 6th, we gonna see. Caleb Plant has a bigger chance at winning this fight than people give him. Because remember, nobody thought that Floyd could beat Canelo at the time when Floyd fought Canelo. It was only midway through the fight when people saw that Canelo was just done. And he just couldn't touch Floyd. That was it. And Canelo's claim to fame basically is, losing to Floyd Mayweather. He lost to Floyd, but he, and a lot of people beg to differ when he fought Golovkin the first time. Some people believe Golovkin beat him. So, I mean, I don't know what y'all think. And I know, the mad Canelo fans, I know y'all gonna come and, go ahead, y'all can talk all the stuff y'all want. And, this ain't no, this ain't about no, y'all can talk all the racist crap all y'all want. I don't care about that. So, but who do y'all think is going to win this fight? Y'all think Caleb Plant is going to win? Or y'all think Canelo is going to win? Because some people think that Canelo is going to stop him, midway through the fight or in the later rounds. But I don't think so. I don't think so. Even Brian Custer said, they think that they can get you late in the fight, or, how confident are you? Caleb Plant said, I don't know no fighter, that's been in a fight and not get hit. He said, you're going to get hit. But, yes, I'm saying it. I got Caleb Plant to win the fight in 12. Even though I feel like if it go 12 rounds, and if certain people is picking these judges, they gonna do the same thing, to him. You know, they probably gonna rob him and give Canelo, because they want Canelo to be the undisputed king. And then what he gonna do? Vacate the belts to go up to 175? Because he's still not gonna fight David Benavidez or Jamal Charlo or Demetrius Andrade. He's probably gonna find another European fighter, somebody from the UK or something. He probably gonna find, you know, or a Ukrainian. He gonna find somebody one of them to fight. Who knows? But I do want to know what y'all think. Who wins this fight? Now that it's finally about to happen. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave the comments, you know. So you're rocking with me, I'm rocking with you. But you know, if y'all gonna start leaving them racist ass comments and all that dumb stuff, man, y'all keep that bull to yourself. Cause this here is just about facts. This is not about, you know, somebody picking somebody because of their race or whatever, which y'all gonna say, oh, nationality and all that kind of stuff, man. Like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Because if Canelo was gonna fight David Benavidez, I would probably pick Benavidez, because I like David Benavidez. So y'all can say whatever y'all want. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, leave the comments, let me know what y'all think. Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant, November 6th. Who wins and why?